Hello, everybody. I'm Crystal Hughes, and welcome to At Home with NCWLIFE, your local resource for all things home and real estate. Today, we'll be talking about fire safety and insurance with owner of American Family Insurance, Jake Davison. But first, your weekly market update. New construction is very much on the horizon locally with over 1,000 pending applications for new builds and many already approved and in the process or waiting for development. With the pandemic this last year, a longer hold and wait time with availability for materials, increase in lumber and material costs, and shortages of labor workers to build. Completion time for builders is varying between 6 months, like builders for Ace Bollinger with Bollinger Construction, and up to 2 years for builders like Mike Roberts with Roberts Construction. The Coopers with C&C Investment Properties are working on a few new construction builds in East Wenatchee. The 14th Street townhomes off Sunset Highway, first building will be framed in the next few weeks, and utilities and paving will be added in September. They are anticipating leasing and releasing pricing at the end of this year. These will be built in phases over the next 3 years, and it's going slower than anticipated, of course, with lumber and labor worker shortages. Located directly off of the Loop Trail and Cascade Street, the Coopers are also building and continuing to put up patio homes that will be selling in the high $400,000 to $500,000 range. Every summer, we take precautions as a community to ensure that we are protected from our known threats of fires and the potential of burning down homes and large hillsides. This past week, we have seen firefighters hard at work protecting our hills and structures from severe fire damage. Luckily, our amazing firefighters have been able to save the fires from destroying any structures at all. In June of 2015, the Sleepy Hollow fires destroyed 24 homes and 3 businesses. Fires can move very quickly, and that fire spread through Broadview neighborhood and set 2 structures ablaze at about 8:30 p.m. that night in June. Within 15 minutes, that reported number had tripled to 6 as firefighters and the police worked to save homes. They were also urging residents to flee. Since 2015, most people have rebuilt their homes, sold their land, and bought elsewhere, or they never rebuilt and never returned, and the vacant land is still sitting there. It is important as homeowners, tenants, and landlords to ensure that our homes and families are protected from devastating damages like fires and unexpected disasters. Speaking with local experts like insurance agents, real estate agents, and knowledgeable community service members about how you can best be prepared to handle and protect your assets and loved ones in the midst of a disaster is highly recommended. Total sales in our local market area for June were up 95 at 3% from this last year. Active listings, though, were down 17% from May of this time last year and down 74% from June of 2020. Pending sales for June were 153, and the median sales price is $425,000. That's up 21% from this time last year. Average sales price is up 18% at $468,000. The average days on market is 50 plus days, and the average sales to list price ratio, you guys, is up from 98% to 102%. This suggests that the market is very competitive with low inventory and the demand from buyers relocating, also looking up to move to a bigger home, or downsizing and retiring. Forbes named Wenatchee one of the top 25 places to live and retire in the nation. We are blessed as a community to live and play here, and I am grateful to serve in our local community on your behalf as a real estate agent. I'm your host, Crystal Hughes, and that is your weekly market update. Welcome back. We are here today with the owner of American Family Insurance, Jake Davison. Thanks for being here with us, Jake.
Thanks for having me, Crystal.
Yeah, so tell us, how long have you been in the Valley serving our community, and a little bit about your team and who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so we opened the agency here in Wenatchee in 2013, so coming up on 8 years in November. I have a team of 3 people with me right now, and we're in the process of bringing 1 more on board. We do everything from auto insurance, home insurance, life insurance, business insurance, things like that.
Right.
We just love being here.
Yeah. So why insurance? What got you into that?
You know, there's a lot of different reasons, but it kind of checks the boxes for me that are important, big picture.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wanted to do something that allows me to positively impact people in the community that I live in.
Yeah.
And also have like a brick and mortar
Mm-hmm.
location where I can sit down and know our customers and interact with them versus, the kind of the other model in insurance is more of the 1-800 number.
Yeah.
You just communicate over the phone or online.
Yes. And you've got a great location there. Where are you located?
Right on the corner of First and Chelan.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we love being there, and it's just nice to, be able to meet people here and know them, and we know our customers, and they, become friends over the years.
Absolutely.
And, we just love it.
Absolutely. So, and you have a family.
I do.
Wife Tess and
Yes, my wife Tess, and we have two young boys that are growing like crazy. It's just unbelievable, but just loving it.
Love it. Well, I imagine they'll be growing. You're tall, so
Yeah.
I imagine they'll be tall like you,
Yes.
for sure.
Quickly.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you for everything that you do in the community, by the way.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. There's been some fires over the last few weeks, and every summer we kind of try to anticipate for that and prepare for that as best as we can. So thanks to the firefighters, right, that we haven't had yet any structure damages, have to pay out, let's say, for insurance claims for those fires. So what is kind of most important for people to understand right now about fire safety precautions and protection?
Yeah, and I would echo a huge thank you and kudos to the fire department and those first responders.
Yes.
Amazing work.
Yes.
No structures damaged yet. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
But as it relates to insurance, obviously the big one is have it, right? Like some people just maybe choose not to. Fortunately, most folks that own a home choose to insure it. But I think the second piece is make sure that it's correct ahead of time.
Right.
What happens and what we see a lot of times is there's a big fire and then the calls start coming in. Hey, is this what it needs to be? And yada, yada, yada. And I completely understand that. But the problem logistically for all insurance companies is often when there's a fire, there'll be moratoriums issued. So you can't make changes to policies. You can't issue new policies.
Right.
So the point is, always do an annual review of your insurance.
Great.
And further, if your life changes or your house changes or something, your insurance probably should follow.
Right.
So a quick call to your insurance person to say, hey, I did X, Y, and Z. Do we need to change anything? Is a very easy way to not have to kind of panic when there's a fire down the road.
Being prepared in advance,
Yes.
right? So that you make sure that you're covered completely
Exactly.
before it happens.
Exactly.
So that you're not in a pause and can't change if you need to.
Yep.
Excellent. So do you guys make recommendations? Do you guys send off with a homeowner, a evacuation plan, things that they can do in advance to be prepared in the event that something like that happens?
We encourage people, obviously, follow what the local professionals are advising you to do, evacuation notices and things like that. We always, those are the professionals, the fire department and things like that. They're the professionals at that. And we encourage our customers and everybody to follow along with what they're saying. From our end, what we encourage, again, and we encourage this early, is obviously be safe, get out if you need to as quickly as you need to. But if you have a minute, and you can take a quick video of the things inside your house, 5-minute, just walk around. If something bad were to happen and your insurance company, says, hey, we kind of need to know what you had in here. That's a difficult thing to talk about if it's all gone.
Absolutely.
So a quick video can be super helpful.
Okay. So video ahead of time to kind of show what your assets are so you can ensure that they're covered.
Yep.
Beforehand.
Email it to your insurance company, store it in the cloud, whatever. But
so especially if they think you're going to get evacuated. Right.
Yeah.
Start doing that ahead of time and not like as the fire's coming up the road.
Totally. Or the safe bet, honestly, do it every year.
Sure.
Just have a new one every single year.
Ready to go on hand. Okay. So this last year has kind of had a lot of plot twists and turns in the real estate industry, and especially for new construction. People taking a look at their assets and adjusting their insurance. So what are maybe some of the most significant maybe changes or themes or maybe even recommendations that you would have for people looking at their homeowners insurance today?
Yeah, I think the biggest changes and themes, obviously we're all aware of these crazy construction costs and the price of lumber and things like that. Yeah. And, annually we typically see those inflationary increases. And normally your insurance policy will follow that automatically to an extent at each renewal. But again, in times like these it's more than just an inflationary increase, right? Like
large.
it's crazy right now.
Escalating.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll go back again to say, make the phone call to
Okay.
your insurance person and just say,
Absolutely.
is everything fine? Right?
Right.
Like the best call in the world is the call that says, hey, I just wanted to check, make sure my coverage is good.
Absolutely.
Maybe I bought some tools. Do I have enough coverage? Yes. Great.
Yeah.
3 minutes, you're done.
Yeah.
And it just, it ensures that you'll be protected there.
Okay.
And then I think as far as changes goes, the big one that is specific to Washington, on June 20th, the insurance commissioner of Washington State issued an emergency order that requires all Washington insurance companies to no longer use credit as a portion of how someone's rate is determined.
Okay.
And that will impact different folks differently.
Okay.
But the point is, virtually every single person in Washington that has an insurance policy will see a change in their premium.
Okay.
Some will see an increase, some will see a decrease, and things like that. But it's a change, and it's coming, and it just is what it is. It has nothing to do with an insurer. We were forced to do it.
So commission. Okay.
So be on the lookout for it. You want to get ahead of that early and know
get ahead of it. Okay. So with that then, with the changes, households, kind of went down to one income this last year, right? So did we see many policies like people defaulting on their insurance? What happened? Were there things to protect people from that? What were you seeing on that end?
There was, and all different insurance companies, did this differently. But I think as it relates to homeowners insurance specifically, a lot of homeowners insurance is paid as a part of someone's mortgage payment.
Correct.
So, whatever...
maybe forbearance or...
Yes, whatever they were, working out with their mortgage company kind of had an impact on their payments probably being okay.
Right.
But also, most insurance companies were really doing literally everything we could to figure out how we can make this work, right? The times were obviously, we've never dealt with anything like this. It's not anyone's fault.
Absolutely.
So we were doing absolutely everything to figure out payment plans, push payments down the road, whatever we needed to make sure that somebody's policy could stay intact.
That is really good news. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about prevention and insurance policies and home ownership when we get back after this quick commercial break. And we're back here with owner of American Family Insurance, Jake Davison. Thanks again for being here.
So happy to be here.
Yeah, so we were just talking about evaluating your plans, your insurance, your home ownership coverage, also as a package too, maybe bundling it even and seeing where you're at annually and making sure you're protected, especially against fires and natural disasters and lightning strikes and acts of God, right? So for landlords, commercial tenants, and residential, talk a little bit about like maybe a commercial or coverage for landlords versus residential. Why is it so important that landlords have specific insurance?
Yes, great question. So I think the first one is a very foundational piece of info for everyone to know. A homeowner's insurance policy is not the same policy that you need to have if you rent your house out. So what commonly happens, just like the natural progression, right? Someone buys a house, lives in it for a while, then maybe moves and rents that house out.
Right.
And what is a very easy assumption to make and reasonable is my house is insured. I don't need to do anything with it. But it is not insured correctly anymore, right? So a landlord policy by most insurance companies is considered a commercial policy. And you'll want to be sure that you have a landlord policy on your home that's being rented.
Okay.
I would also encourage making sure you have increased liability coverage simply because you're not there every day to see what's happening.
Right.
So you have a larger liability exposure. The second one is make sure that the coverage for loss of rents is in alignment with how long it may take to rebuild your house or repair your house if something were to happen. Yeah. Right. So if it's going to take 18 months to rebuild a house, hopefully not, but depending on the market.
In today's market,
things,
yes.
You'll want to make sure that your loss of rents will cover you for that entirety.
Okay.
So you'll want to review that.
And from a tenant standpoint.
From a tenant standpoint.
Because a lot of people think, well, my landlord already has insurance, but you should require, as a landlord also, and as a tenant, that you have tenant insurance as well, correct?
Yes. Renter's insurance.
Renter's insurance, yes.
So affordable.
Yeah.
Your landlord or a landlord policy will not cover any of your personal belongings.
Yeah.
It does not cover your liability.
Yeah.
It's very inexpensive.
Yeah.
It's very inexpensive.
Get it done.
It's good. It's quick.
Do it.
Yep.
So, talk about an example of where maybe someone was in a very undesirable situation, and had they not had homeowners insurance, how you guys were able to help them.
Yeah. I think the common things we think of are, house burns down or something like that, right? And insurance comes in and helps out. But, something a little less common, but so real, especially in the area we live, is we had a customer that, was near a fire. No, didn't burn at all, right? But they had significant smoke damage. And, smoke travels whatever way the wind pushes it, right? And travels differently than fire does. So you might not be in the fire area, but you might be full of smoke, right? And mitigating those damages costs thousands of dollars if it's bad smoke damage.
Yeah.
So we were able to take care of that for our customer, minus their deductible of maybe $1,000. I think we paid out maybe like $30,000 or something for smoke damage. So that would have been
30
in a
grand
rough spot.
Yeah, that'd have been 30 grand out of their own pockets.
Yep.
So down in California, I lived down there, Julian, California. I think it was like 2007-ish, somewhere around there. There's lightning that struck a house. And it burned the whole hillside, and there was a ton of fires down in California. And I remember I knew those people personally, and their insurance wasn't covered because they didn't have lightning insurance. Their house burned down from fire, but that wasn't the actual cause. So at that time, and their policy. So is it important that people really understand that it's actually what the procuring cause is in some cases, right? For their insurance actually to cover them. Like you said, they had smoke effect, but maybe their policy was, in some other cases, would have only been for fire and not the effects of smoke. So it's really important that they understand that, right?
So important. Yeah. So important. This ties back to earlier. Do the review, right? Like just the simple question of what is covered. Like, and it can be a long conversation, and you get the policy documents and they're 100 pages long, and but the point is, like, what are the meat and potato things, the common things that are covered, right? Fire, wind, theft, like those are what you want to know.
Yes.
Those are what you want to know. So make sure you have a good understanding.
Yes, thank you. So real quick, just for people watching, what's the difference? Because a lot of people confuse this, and it's a very common mistake, right? Even for the well-educated. Title insurance, homeowners insurance.
Yep.
Difference.
Totally. We don't do title insurance, so I'm not the expert, but generally speaking, homeowners insurance is covering damage to the house, damage to your items, things like that. Title insurance is protecting your ownership in the property. So it doesn't have to do with the physical structure per se and damage to it. Yes. It's just your ownership of the property without, there's not liens on the property or something like that.
Yeah, in real estate, we call it marketable title. So being able to have the legal right to sell it.
Yes.
Yeah, so ownership, as you said. So we don't have a crystal ball, right, for what's going to happen. But based off your expertise and living here and owning a business for over 8 years in our valley, where do you kind of see the next few years with relocation, growth, new construction? Do you think we'll see, people are like, we'll see what's going to happen. We're going to tank. There's probably going to be another bubble. What do you think?
I personally don't think we're in the bubble's gonna burst. That's not really my mentality or mindset. Maybe there will be a little bit of a leveling off. I don't know. It's hard to say. But I don't think the bubble's going to burst. And I think we're going to continue to see people relocating here because it's an amazing place to live.
Yes. Yes. So you guys, you donate a lot of time and you give back and you're in the community and you're very active. So to give us a little example, what are you doing right now? Are you sponsoring, putting time into, donating to right now? What are you guys doing as a company?
Yeah, we try to get involved with anything that we can that positively affects the community.
Yes.
So we do a lot with the chamber. We do a lot with the Downtown Association. I'm on the board of the Confluence Health Foundation.
Awesome.
Which raises a lot of money to better Confluence Health in their offerings to our community.
Right.
and we're always looking for opportunities
Okay.
where we can help in that regard, whether it's with time or whatever else.
Excellent. I love that. So if someone is looking to have a consultation, wanted to look at their insurance policy, how would they get a hold of you?
Yep. So we call it a personal insurance review.
Yeah.
We love to do it with our customers. We love to do it with people that are not yet our customers.
Yeah.
And it's totally a free thing and not, again, we're right on the corner of First and Chelan. Yeah. We can be reached at 509-888-9007. Our website is jakedavisonagency.com.
Okay.
But call us, stop in, whatever. We love to meet anybody that's just wanting to chat.
Yeah, thank you so much. So anything else you'd like to leave or add to the viewers today?
I would just, again, echo, review your policy annually, update early and often, and talk to somebody local. We have great local people here, and there's a lot of value in it.
I love that. Thank you again so much for being here today, Jake.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Crystal.
Okay. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, you guys. That was Jake Davison, owner of American Family Insurance. We'll see you here next week at home with NCW Life.